It's over, saying goodbye.
Welcome to the Late Light Show. Today, I have the pleasure of having in the studio Ryan. And Ryan, I am realizing that I don't even know your last name. What's your last name?
Bazinet.
Where are you from, Ryan?
I am from Massachusetts, one of the original colonies here.
One of the original
In
colonies.
the United States, that's right. And that's where I'm from. I live in Sunset Park, Brooklyn now.
And how long have you been in the New York area?
I believe I just passed my 15th anniversary here.
Nice, nice. And what made you decide to stay here?
Concrete jungle, place where dreams are made of. I like New York. I like it here.
So speaking about dreams, what are those dreams?
Like many people in New York, I've been trying to figure out how to make the music dream work, which sometimes feels like a curse and other times feels like just this this thing that is amazing to be a part of, and kind of changes from day to day.
Tell me, what would be like your specialty in the music world? Like, are you a singer? Are you a writer? Are you a producer? Are you an event producer? What do you do?
I'm a musician. I'm a guitarist and a singer. Also these days, I am a concert organizer, as many of us are as musicians, and I organize something called the South Brooklyn Scene in South Brooklyn, which is where I live, and I'm also a record label founder. I started a record label called Friends and Aliens Records, and I do a little bit of all of those things and try to give balance to each one.
What do you enjoy doing the most?
What do I enjoy doing the most? I enjoy singing and playing guitar, writing music, creating music, but so my struggle over the past few years has been to figure out a way to do that sustainably, which feels a little bit different, or a little bit difficult, I should say. The question is, how do you take your music beyond hobby level and make it actually a viable career?
Yeah.
And so I've been searching for ways to do that, and one of the ways has been trying to organize musicians in South Brooklyn. Another way has been trying to create this record label as a platform for my band, as well as other bands that we're friends with and that we want to support. And I've been working with a video production company called JMR Studios as well, doing some interviews with bands on Friends and Aliens, and kind of trying to do a lot of different things. Maybe I should just be writing music and singing, but for better or worse, it feels like that's not enough in 2025.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, definitely. Did you study music?
Many years, yeah, I did. In fact, I have a graduate degree, which always sounds pretentious, but I have a PhD in ethnomusicology. So cool. I studied music for many years, yeah.
Nice. And before that, did you do a master's degree, or did you do like an undergrad degree before the PhD you did?
I went straight from undergrad to the PhD program. Got a master's along the way, but yeah, before that I had been a music major, and actually I was the very first music major graduate of the community college where I'm from in Western Massachusetts.
Nice.
So yeah, it was a new program, and I happened to be the first one to walk across the stage because my last name is Bazinet. B is at the beginning of the alphabet, so I was technically the first
Cool.
one to ever receive that degree. But yeah, I went and studied music because I started playing guitar as a teenager. When I was 13, I wanted to be like Kurt Cobain, and then when I was 14, he died tragically, and it was devastating. But I, continued playing music and kind of been on this path ever since.
And like around what moment in your life you realized that you wanted to be a musician and that you were going to focus everything towards that?
I started playing guitar because I was really inspired by Kurt Cobain. He died, and then rock music sort of changed at that point, and it hasn't really ever been the same since that point. This was a guy who was as big as Taylor Swift is now. He and his wife Courtney were on all of the magazine covers when you went to the grocery store, and their music was top of the charts. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Rock music was actually popular music at that time. And then, but it was a little bit too real, I think, for Kurt. He bought into his self-destructive message, I think, a little bit too much, and did ultimately destroy himself. And I think a lot of people, maybe for good reason, got a little bit scared of that direction in music and backed away from it. And music changed, and I did as well. And so I started to learn more about the blues, which I enjoyed, and then in college I started to learn about jazz, which I enjoyed as a challenge, but honestly never got that good at it, and I always found it more frustrating than enjoyable. I probably just didn't want to practice as hard as I needed to. Still had that punk rock attitude, I guess, that I developed as a teenager, and so eventually, after some years of playing in cover bands and playing funk music and blues music, and then eventually playing jazz, I just kind of lost all interest in playing music, and I became this academic who was researching Afro-Trinidadian music, and that was what my dissertation was about. And so I hung out with a lot of Trinidadian drummers, which I loved that time very much, and I played a lot of drums at that point, but not guitar. And at some point, my guitars had been hanging on the wall. I've got these guitar hooks for a couple of my guitars, and I had living in New York as one does, you move around apartments. So I had moved to like 2 different apartments, and I just had this realization one day that I had moved my guitars to these apartments more than I had actually played them in the past few years. So I said, these are tools. This isn't wall art. This isn't a decoration on the wall. So I need to get rid of these. I need to sell them if I'm not going to use them for what they were intended for. So I sold them. And about 2 months later, I started getting inspired. I was on this drive home from Massachusetts. Well, I was coming from my old home in Massachusetts, coming to New York, and just driving by myself in the car, and turned on the Sirius Lithium station, which is 90s alternative rock and grunge, and it's just song after song that was like, just felt like stepping into my old I don't know, an old pair of shoes that just fit just right, and singing along every song. And I remember just driving down the Taconic State Parkway, singing these songs at the top of my lungs, and just thinking, this feels right. And within a few days, I started getting song ideas. And so I wrote a song, which was kind of weird because I hadn't done that in a long, long time. And then the next day I got another song idea, and then the next day I got another song idea. And they were actually songs that I liked, and I thought they were pretty good and better than anything that I really had ever written before. So I thought, well, this is interesting, and I wound up writing 10 songs. I wound up buying another guitar and just making this bedroom album, which I called Return of the Grunge, and wound up leaving academia, becoming a writer, podcast producer, and a musician, and that's been the path that I've been on for several years now.
Cool. Like I always like knowing like how people end up like devoting their existence to music. You know, because like in my case, I'm also like in a journey that is similar and completely different at the same time. You know, but it's weird because you really don't feel complete if you don't try to follow the music. Like that's in my case, you know. So like it's weird because like business wise, like my undergrad was in business, no? So like I clearly see that music is not the best business to go into, you know? Like from a business perspective, it's just like what are you doing, you know? But at the same time you can't help it. So just like you just have to try it, you know? Like I had a teacher, like a songwriting teacher, like one of my best songwriting teachers, Monica Vélez, and she said like music has always been impossible, but there's always people that make it, you know. So and she also says that there's no target that can avoid a million arrows, you know. So you just have to keep on throwing arrows. So anyways,
I
hello
like that.
to Monica from she's the director of Desesacem, which is like the school. Well, it's not technically a school, but like the songwriting workshop for SACM, which is like the Mexican BMI, which I'm a graduate from. So that was great. Like it really changed my life to be there, and thanks to that, it made lots of things happen that ended in me being here in New York. So that I'm happy about that. Anyways, let's go a little deeper to know you.
Okay.
I like asking weird questions, you
Okay.
know, because I feel that most interviews they stay in superficial things,
Yeah.
which is great, no. But uh, I like to search for answers and to have more questions. So I hope that by asking your perspective in things that confuse me, I get to make my brain think more because I really like knowing what people think about life, you know. So let's start with like what do you think happens after we die?
Starting with an easy one. You know, I'm not sure, but I will say that I'm the proud father of 3 sons, and I do feel that children are kind of the secret to immortality because you know, you literally will live on. Your DNA lives on through your children. And not only that, but your memory as well. So I do feel like it's my job in life to do something, to live in the right way and to live the best life that I can as an example for them, which will hopefully live on as a monument. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways to do it. You know, if you're a general, I guess they make a statue out of you. I don't expect any statues out of myself, but I think there are ways. You know, maybe it's the music that I recorded. Maybe it's a book that I might write someday. But I think there are ways. I think to me those are kind of that's what the afterlife is these monuments, for lack of a better word, and connections that you make now that will live on after you.
So, do you think that after you finish this life that you're living, you might come back here again, or do you think you're going somewhere else?
I don't know. Would I like to come back again? Somewhere else might be nice. I don't know. It's that's tough to say. I mean, I believe in God. I'm a Catholic, and so yeah, I do believe there is an afterlife and something after this. I hesitate to say, you know, what it is.
I see. Okay, so moving on. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
I would wish that the internet was never invented, that smartphones didn't exist. That's kind of the same thing, I think. I would wish for more snow right now. It would be nice if it was a little bit snowier.
Why do you like or not like the internet
Yeah. Oh, well,
in
that's
a music sense?
I mean, that's the whole point. Is before the internet, people actually had to go out and see music, or they had to go to their record store and buy. You remember, you had to buy a whole album because maybe there was one song that you liked of a band, and chances were that whole album was going to suck. But you would sit and you would listen to it and give it a chance.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the thing. Or you would go down to the record store and maybe sample. You know, some stores would let you listen before you bought. But you would actually have to go somewhere and do something. And then if a band came through town, I mean, touring used to be possible because that was the only way that you could hear new music, was to actually know the spots where touring bands would come through and go out and see them. It used to be from a business perspective, it used to be viable for a record label to pay for a record because they could get their money back if the band would go out on the road, because people would come out and buy the records. Do you believe in this idea? You know this feeling, I think every musician has felt it in the best of times, where a song just happens, and it's like it's just sort of happening through you. Tapping in, or just we'll start making music and then something just happens. Do you believe like we're tapping into radio frequencies somewhere and these songs just kind of come channel through us?
Yes, I believe that is possible and that happens. But for example, I think that's what's the cool thing. Like, the more you know about songwriting or production or whatever, like, you're going to be able to receive these signals in a more effective way. What do you say if we try to make a little idea for a song, like after all of this conversation, to see if something comes out? If you would like to grab the guitar, that would be great. And in the end, whatever your antenna is receiving.
So yeah, how are we gonna do this? You gonna sing something?
Yeah, I would say start playing, and I like doing like free improvisation on whatever like the person that grabs the instrument is doing, and see if we can find something that we like in that free improvisation and start growing from there.
Okay.
I'm gonna record on my phone just in case we have something interesting.
I like the way these open chords sound on this guitar. Do you have a key that you like to sing in?
Whatever you're feeling, like this was sounding nice.
Like A major?
Sure. Out in Spain, place away. silent. Cool. I'm just like writing different things to see if that they might make sense.
Okay.
Let me just finish writing this part and then we'll try again. And I think
Cool.
that's like it might be a first draft, you know? Like
Let's do it.
lock a window. Oh no, so it's like this, and then this one over here. Wake up, find the sound, and that, and make the sound, feel the sound, something like that, I think. Okay, cool. Let's do one more run through, just like to have like an initial idea,
Okay.
and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
So wonderful. Okay. Loud and clear, soft as thunder, sharpened arrows start to rain. Through the morning, down my spine, through the darkness I was blind. Lift off, lift off, lift down. Wake up, take off, take down. Wake up, take off, take down. Find the sound. Then we go like there. We go to an instrumental. Yeah. Yeah, great. Very good. Unlock the window. Thinking in circles. Stay in the middle. Let your body ride. Pre-chorus. Lift off, look down, look down. Chorus. Wake up, take off, take down. Wake up, take off,
take out, take out, take down. Feel the sound. Feel the sound. Feel the sound. Feel the sound. Feel the sound.
Cool. Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we had Ryan Bazinet in the studio. It was a pleasure writing a song. What are we going to call it?
Let's call it Wake Up.
Let's call it Wake Up. Ryan, a message that you would like to send to the audience, also your social media.
Yeah, so my band is No Love Songs. Follow us at no.love.songs. And Friends and Aliens Records is at Friends and Aliens Records. Might just be at Friends and Aliens, but we're friendsandaliensrecords.com. And we also organize the South Brooklyn scene. So if you're a New York band looking to connect with other bands, check us out. And we do monthly showcases. We'd love to have you come and join us.
This was The Late Light Show. See you next time.
Diría que ser un Sagitario. A veces no me sé controlar. De tu ventana te observo a diario. Déjame entrar. Ya estoy bastante cansado. Que en mis sueños nada sea real.